Hello students. So today we are discussing on a new topic, that is drug release pattern and design of controlled release drug delivery systems. Let us see what are the various drug release patterns of controlled release drug delivery system. The controlled release drug delivery system can be developed in such a way that it can follow various release patterns like slow zero order process, slow first order release, initial rapid dose, then slow zero order, initial rapid dose, then slow first order. These are the four different types of release patterns that is followed in case of a controlled release drug delivery systems. You know very well what is zero order and first order and all. This we have already studied in our biopharmaceutics in the chapter of absorption. And also we learn clearly in kinetics what are the various processes, what is zero order and first order, etc. Right? But now currently here we are discussing for the process like release of drug, that is release of drug from a drug delivery system into the site of absorption. Suppose you are administering the tablet form, a controlled release tablet. Suppose if you are administering, the drug has to release from the tablet into the GIT. That means the movement or the release of the drug molecule from the delivery system into the GIT. This release of drug from the delivery system is what we are going to learn in this session. So this release can be of four different order, that is it can follow slow zero order process, slow first order process, and it can follow initial rapid dose, then slow zero order, then slow zero order, initial rapid dose, then slow first order. If you look into this, the first one is not zero order, it is a slow zero order release. The second one is not first order release, it is a slow first order release. So always there is a term you can see that is a slow. Suppose what is a zero order process means? That means the process that is independent. If in the case of drug release, a zero order process means the process that is independent on the concentration of drug what is present in the delivery system. The drug is released from the delivery system into the GIT. If it follows a zero order process, that means the release of the drug is independent on the concentration of drug present in the delivery system. Whereas in the case of a first order process, that is depends upon the concentration of drug present in the delivery system. So our controlled drug delivery system, that itself means the release of drug from the delivery system outside the delivery system. So from into outside the delivery system is in a controlled manner. That is what is governed by the controlled delivery system. Now this release pattern can be follow either a zero order or it can be a first order process. Okay, there are various different kinetic patterns also that we will learn in the next portions. Okay, right now the basic two patterns, that is zero order as well as the first order release. Now in case of zero order also, this zero order process is a slow process. That is a speciality of this. So zero order can be a fast zero order or it can be a slow zero order also. Zero order only means that the release is independent upon the concentration. Say for example, there is a 100 mg tablet. The drug is released from the tablet 5 mg per hour. The drug is released from the tablet at a rate of 5 mg per hour. That means after 1 hour it releases 5 mg. Then after 1 hour it again releases 1 mg. So every 1 hour all total it will releases a constant amount. The release amount that released remains the same from the beginning till the end. That is a speciality. That means in the first hour it releases the 5 mg. In the 20th hour also it will releases the 5 mg. So from the beginning till the end it release the same quantity of drug from the delivery system. So this is a speciality of the zero order. So why it is called a slow zero order? Since it is a controlled release, it can follow a slow zero order. What is an example of a fast zero order? That means out of 100 mg, the tablet in the first hour it releases 25 mg, second hour 25 mg, third hour 25 mg, fourth hour 25 mg. So out of 100 mg, every 1 hour it releases 25 mg, and it releases only up to 4th hour. That means till the 4th hour only we have the extension. At the end of the 4th hour, the entire 100 mg will be released. So whereas in the case of slow zero order, what is the pattern? The amount that is released at every time point is less. Slow first order means what? The amount that released at every time point is less. So a less amount of drug is releasing at every time point. So this is a speciality of the slow zero order release pattern. So this is the graphical representation of an in vitro drug release against time. That means at every time point there is only a specific amount of drug is released, and we got a straight line. We got a straight line in the increasing order. So when you plot a graphical representation of percentage drug release against time, if you get a straight line, that means it follows a zero order kinetics. If it gets a straight line, that follows a zero order kinetics. Now we'll go to the concept, the core concept of this. The ultimate aim of developing a drug into a controlled release means it has so many advantages like patient convenience, reducing the dose, dosing frequency, etc. that we already learned. But from all this, we are aiming to have a steady state concentration in the therapeutic range. A steady state concentration of drug in our systemic circulation, a steady state concentration of drug in our blood is required, and this steady state concentration must be within the therapeutic range. So a steady state concentration within the therapeutic range must be achieved in case of a controlled release drug delivery system. So our main objective from converting a conventional dosage form into a controlled or novel drug delivery was, in case of conventional dosage form, there were so many peaks. Okay, initially it is going so high, then it's coming down, then it's going high, then it's coming down. So always the graph, there is a fluctuations were there. So our purpose was to avoid these fluctuations and to maintain a steady state plasma drug concentration. Thus, to attain a steady state plasma drug concentration, we required minimum 4.5 or 4.3 half-life for a drug molecule to achieve 95% steady state concentration, and we required around 7 to 9 half-life for attaining 99% steady state concentration. This also you have already studied in the IV infusion, in the compartment model IV infusion. Thus, if you assume we require only 95% steady state concentration, to attain this 95% steady state concentration, you require minimum 4 to 4.3 half-life. That means the attainment of steady state concentration depends upon the elimination and the half-life. So if the drug molecule is with low half-life, suppose the drug molecule is having a half-life of 1, the half-life is 1 hour. That means within 4 to 5 hours or within 4.3 hours, it can attain 95% steady state concentration. Whereas if the half-life is 6 hours, suppose the half-life of the drug molecule is 6 hours, 6 into 4, minimum it will take 24 hours to attain a steady state concentration. So it will take 24 hours for attaining a steady state concentration. I mean, it's a long duration for a drug molecule to attain this target, and we cannot wait until this 24 hours for the patients to get the steady state concentration. It's a long time. So what happens? If it is in the case of a shorter half-life, it can easily attain the steady state concentration. Whereas in the case of a drug molecule with a higher half-life, it takes a long duration for attaining the steady state concentration. So the zero order release is good for developing a controlled drug delivery system. At the same time, it is not good for any of the drug molecule with a higher half-life, because it takes longer time to attain the steady state concentration. Whereas in the case of the drug molecule with a low half-life, less half-life, it is very good to go with only a slow zero order release pattern. Whereas the drug molecule with a higher half-life, it's not fair to go with a slow zero order release systems. Now let us see in the next portion, that is slow first order release pattern. And you know what is first order, because the drug release depends upon the amount of drug present in the delivery system. If the amount is higher, it releases a higher amount. If the amount is slower, it releases a slower amount. So this movement of drug from the delivery system into the GIT depends upon the amount of drug that is present in our drug delivery system. Now, this type of delivery system is inferior than our zero order release patterns. Why it is inferior? Why this delivery systems become inferior? Suppose if you look into the graph itself, initially it was growing, and in the last stage, in the initial time points, the amount of drug released was high, because the drug delivery system has more amount of drug. Suppose the delivery system is having 100 mg drug, it releases 10 mg. After 5 hours time, the drug delivery system has only 50 mg. That time it releases only 5 mg drug. After 2 hours, the delivery system is having only 30 mg drug, the drug is releasing only 3 mg from that. That means the amount of drug that releases out from the delivery system depends upon the amount of drug what is present in the delivery system. And initially, when there is a higher amount of drug present in the delivery system, higher amount of drug will be releasing out. As the amount of drug in the delivery system decreases, the amount that releases from the delivery system also decreases. So that means initially there will be a higher amount of drug released, at the end a slower amount of drug only will be released. The amount that is released is, if it is absorbed, initially a higher amount will be absorbed into the systemic circulation, and in the later on only a slow amount of drug will be absorbed. That means there are possibility for fluctuations. in the plasma drug concentration can occur. So that is the reason this slow first order release is inferior to that of our slow zero order release pattern. Now the third option what we have is initial rapid dose, then slow zero order. Initial rapid dose, then slow zero order. Now, if you consider the slow zero order alone, it is a slow process. The drawback of the slow zero order process is it takes a long time to attain the steady state concentration for the drug molecules with a higher half-life. To overcome the situation, or in order to get a immediate therapeutic concentration, we can develop the delivery system in such a way that an initial burst release is possible. An initial burst release is possible from the delivery system, followed by a controlled release. That means initially, if it follows purely a controlled release, slow zero order release pattern, it takes longer time to attain a therapeutic concentration. Again, it takes more time to attain a steady state concentration. These two things are critical, because the patient requires a immediate action, one thing. Second thing, to attain the therapeutic steady state concentration, it takes a long time. So to nullify this effect, we can develop the delivery system in such a way that the system gives an immediate burst release of our drug from the delivery system for the initial some time. Maybe for example, for the initial 1 hour, out of 100 mg drug in the delivery system, for the initial 1 hour it releases 25 mg. After 1 hour onwards, it releases in a purely slow zero order pattern. That means every 1 hour 5 mg, next 1 hour 5 mg, and it extends the release up to 24 hours. So what is the advantage of this? Initial burst release produces a better therapeutic activity, and it helps in attainment of steady state concentration very easily. So the drug molecules with higher half-life may require long time to attain the steady state concentration. This time to attain the steady state concentration can be reduced by producing a burst effect. And you have learned this portion exactly in the biopharmaceutics: IV infusion plus loading dose. IV infusion plus loading dose. If you require any clarity on this, how it fastly it attains steady state concentration, means you can refer to the previous topic, how it attains a steady state concentration after an immediate release. That means the immediate release helps in attainment of a steady state concentration very easily. So that is the advantage of this method. But again, this initial rapid dose then slow zero order process has any drawback, because what happens, suppose the controlled release system we are developed for taking once daily, and it extends up to 24 hours. Once daily we are prescribing this medication. After the first dose, assume the thing in this way, imagine after the first dose, within 1 hour it gives a burst release. Then till the 24 hours it gives a controlled release. As a result of the burst release, it attains a steady state concentration. That means from the second hour onwards, it maintains a steady state concentration in the body. Now, after 24 hours, the patient is taking the second dose. The second dose also gives what? A burst release. Okay, second dose also gives the burst release. So what happens? The plasma concentration may go high. If this happens, after the second dose, the plasma concentration may cross the maximum safe concentration. The peak plasma concentration may cross the maximum safe concentration, and it may be toxic to the patient. The same situation repeats every day. Third day, the patient takes the third dose, immediately there is a increase in the concentration. Thereafter it maintains a steady state concentration. So this increase in the plasma drug concentration may result in toxicity. Thus this face certain practical difficulties. Second method what you can opt is increasing a dosing interval. Again, that is also very tedious and very difficult process. Thus, in order to tackle this process, another method is give an immediate release tablet in an immediate release conventional dosage form before administering a controlled release, slow zero order controlled release drug delivery system. So what happens? Before administering a CR tablet, the patient is taking an immediate release conventional tablet. This tablet will give you a burst release of the drug. It will give a better concentration, plasma drug concentration in our body. Then the patient is taking the CR tablet. The CR tablet gives slowly releasing the drug molecule for the 24 hours. Next day onwards, the patient is taking only the CR tablet. The CR tablet gives only what? Zero order release. This tablet gives the zero order release pattern. So because of the first IR tablet, first conventional tablet what the patient has taken, as a result of this, the plasma concentration has gone very high, and it helps in attainment of steady state concentration within a shorter period of time. For the drug molecules with a higher half-life can attain this target of attainment of steady state concentration in less period of time by this method. So the final option what we have is administer a conventional tablet, IR tablet, before administering a CR tablet, followed by administer the CR tablet every day will gives you a zero order release pattern. The last release pattern is initial rapid dose, then slow first order. We found that the first order release is again inferior than that of the zero order release. Again, now for any of the drug molecule with a higher half-life, to attain is easily steady state concentration, this method is possible. Why? Means administer and burst release, administer or give an immediate release of the delivery system, followed by it can follow a first order release pattern. The same way in the case of what we learned in the case of zero order also, this method also have the drawback that in the second dose onwards there are possibility for increasing the plasma drug concentration, and that can be nullified by giving a IR tablet, just administering before this slow first order release drug delivery system. So these are the 4 different types of release patterns what we studied, that is slow zero order, slow first order, immediate release followed by slow zero order, immediate release followed by slow first order. So these are the 4 release patterns what we are going to listen in our control release drug delivery system. Okay, so these are all just backgrounds before entering into our control release drug delivery system. Now next one is design of control release drug delivery system. The control release drug delivery system can be designed by having 3 different designs. First one is a reservoir system, second is a matrix system, third one is a hybrid system. It's nothing but combination of both reservoir and a matrix system. Thus we have 3. First one is reservoir system. Let us see what is a reservoir system. This is a representation of a reservoir system. So just think, what is the word reservoir means? The word reservoir itself says something reserves. We have water tanks, where it is a reservoir system, where the boundaries of the water tank keep the water inside, or protect the water from flowing outside the tank. So this acts as a reservoir system where with a boundary maintains something inside. A dam keeps the water inside without flowing, and it permits only a limited flow of water from it. That means it acts as a reservoir system. The same is the concept of reservoir system for the control release drug delivery system also. There is a core drug substance. A core drug substance. Outside the core there is a membrane. So the membrane protects or membrane limit the movement of drug molecule from the membrane towards the outside environment. You assume in this way, you can assume a tablet, just a tablet. Just an immediate release tablet. So this tablet is a core material. If this tablet is coated with a polymer, a tablet is coated with a polymer membrane, the membrane protects the drug molecule, or the membrane keeps the drug molecule inside the membrane. That means we do not have if we consume the tablet, we do not have a direct access into the core, but we have access only to the membrane. We have to permeate this membrane, then only we can reach into the core. That means if you consume this tablet, or if you put a tablet in the water, initially if it is only a core tablet, if it is not coated with any of the polymer, if it is only a core tablet, the water can directly attack the core. Whereas if it is coated with a polymer, the water has to permeate the polymer, then it has to reach into the core. One more step ahead it has to perform, right? So this is a type of reservoir system where the drug molecule is protected by means of some polymers. So this is purely acting as a reservoir. Now what happens is, this is a reservoir of our drug delivery system. Now once you administer this reservoir system, the GI fluids slowly get into the system and it takes the drug molecule from the core outside the delivery system. That means this delivery system remains intact for a longer period of time. The delivery system remains intact for a longer period of time, but the drug molecule what is present inside the delivery system slowly moves out of the delivery system. So this is a graph, this is a figure in the initial zero time while administering. The blue color is the membrane, the white is our core, and the yellowish color is the drug molecules. Now what happens in the initial zero time point, the delivery system is intact. After putting the delivery system in a solvent, after a particular period of time, the solvent penetrates the membrane, the solvent reaches into the core of the tablet, it dissolves the drug molecule in the core, and the drug molecule is coming out of the core by permeating the membrane. That means the drug has penetrated out of the delivery system and it is now present in its environment. It has come out of the delivery system. Let us see what is the exact mechanism. Now here two pictures are there. One is left side, what you are seeing is the A, right side what you are seeing is B. Left side is a implantable oral tablet system, assume. B is a transdermal system. Okay, if it is a case of A, what happens? Initially there is a core which is containing a drug material. Outside the core there is a membrane. The membrane protects the core, and once it is put into a dissolution medium, the dissolution fluid penetrate through the membrane, it reaches into the core, and from the core it dissolves the drug molecule and the core slowly releases the drug. As the time moves up, as the time goes, the amount of drug in the core is getting reduced and it is maximum released outside the delivery system. It is maximum moved into the outer environment of the delivery system. The same is the case with the transdermal systems also. Only the thing, the shape. The transdermal system will be somewhere rectangular in shape, whereas the tablet may be in something like a spherical or a round in shape. The tablets or pills might be. Okay. So, but the mechanism remains the same, only the shape it varies. So this way the drug alone releases out of the delivery system, and the delivery system remains intact for a longer period of time. Maybe after that it may be going out of the body by our normal GI transit mechanism. So this is what a reservoir system does. Now still, if you have some doubt, you will get more clarity while going to the next topic. That is, the next topic is the matrix system. What is the specialty of a matrix system? If you look into this one, the first portion you can see a round tablet. Okay, just a round tablet. Okay, inside the tablet you can see the blue colored one. The blue colored one, that is what? That is our drug molecule. Okay, then we have some brown colored thing. This brown colored thing indicates the polymer. That means the drug is mixed with the polymer and it is developed into tablet. The polymers are the materials, or polymers are the substances what we used to control the release of the drug molecule from the delivery system. About the polymers you will learn more in the upcoming sections, how to develop the polymer, what are the types of polymer, classification, etc. you will learn. But just now you understand polymers are not a usual excipient. You know what are the excipient for the preparation of a tablet. Okay, but polymers are a type of raw material, or it can be an excipient also, but the property is extremely different. The property of the polymer it keeps the tablet intact for a longer period of time. Suppose if you develop a conventional tablet, if you put in the water, it immediately disintegrates, because it is having some disintegration property. If it do not have disintegrates also, maybe within another 10 to 15 minutes it will disintegrate. That means it is not holding. It is having some elements, some disintegrants, some binding agents, and some lubricants, drug molecule, etc. So that is not holding the tablet for a longer period of time. It disintegrates and forming a coarse or the fine particles. Whereas in case of a matrix system, these polymers keep the tablet intact for a longer period of time. That means here the drug itself is mixed with polymer. The next picture, if you see this, the grid surface, the grid is example of a polymer, and within the polymer the drug molecules has been incorporated. So this is a network system. In this in this mesh like substance, the drug molecules has been incorporated. So the drug molecule, it's very difficult for a drug molecule to move out of this network system, and this network system keeps the drug molecule, keeps the delivery system intact for a longer period of time. So this way the drug and the polymer jointly mixed together, and we developed a tablet or developed a drug delivery system that we call it as a matrix tablet. Whereas in the case of the previous reservoir system, it is having a core only. It is not mandatory that it should have a polymer inside the core. The core can be a usual IR tablet also, but there the limiting factor is the membrane. The membrane is made up of the polymer. Here the core is made up of the polymer. In the reservoir system, the membrane is made up of a polymer substance, whereas in the case of a matrix system, the core itself is made up of a polymer as well as drug. Now, after a particular period of time, slowly the drug molecule releases out of the matrix system. Slowly the polymer also erodes out of the matrix system, and it is a very slow process. As the time goes, slowly the drug molecule is releasing out of the delivery system. And you can see, once the drug molecule is releasing out of the delivery system, it leaves a pause inside this matrix system, and when the polymer erodes also, it leaves some pause or space in the polymer matrix system. So this way the drug molecule releases out of the delivery system in case of a matrix system. Now, this is the mechanism of drug release from the matrix system. The first one, the darker one, this is a pure matrix system. In the solution, initially it releases little amount of drug. Then what happens? Again, little amount of drug with some matrix polymer. Finally, it releases more amount of drug with the matrix material. So as the time proceeds, the amount of drug in the core is getting reduced, and more amount of drug has gone outside the delivery system or gone into the environment of the delivery system. So this is the mechanism of drug release from a matrix system. Now, the last one is our hybrid system, where it is a combination of membrane plus a matrix system. That means here the blue color what is showing is the polymer one, the center portion is our matrix one, and again the inside the matrix you can see the spherical shaped drug molecules. That means the release controlling thing is the matrix material controls the release of drug from the delivery system. The membrane also controls the release of drug from the delivery system. So the entire release is controlled by two-way mechanisms, matrix as well as membrane. So this is a hybrid system which offers again a more extension or more controlled release way we can release the drug molecule. So as the time proceeds, slowly the drug molecule comes out of the mesh network like matrices. Again, it has to come out of the membrane into the outer environment. So this is a speciality of the hybrid system. So these are the various systems what we are seeing today. That is The first one was reservoir system, second one is matrix system, third one is combination of hybrid as well as matrix system. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you understood something, and for understanding the first portion I request you all to go through the, if you are not clear, go through the IV infusion portion to understand the basic concepts of release pattern. Okay, so that's all for today. We'll see you in the next class. Bye bye. Thank you.